Well, it's showtime, ladies and gentlemen. Good morning. I'm Rick Hudson, president of the Turtle Survival Alliance, coming to you live from Fort Worth, Texas. And welcome to our 18th annual symposium on the conservation and biology of tortoises and freshwater turtles, and our first ever virtual symposium. You know, extraordinary times call for extraordinary measures, and we thought that it was important enough to go virtual this year to try to do this conference, because this conference is so important to so many people. It has become a catalytic event within the turtle conservation community. And though we will miss the camaraderie and the synergy that we get from all being together, this conference represents truly transformative moments for so many young and aspiring turtle conservation biologists. It allows us to reach the entire global turtle community. Going virtual is allowing so many more people to participate and present their findings and their research than would have been possible otherwise. So many people can't afford to attend or can't attend for other reasons our conference. So going virtual has its benefits. I really want to thank our staff and sponsors who have worked tirelessly to make this happen. I was pessimistic initially about this conference. I saw the energy and the developing and all the synergy coming together and all the abstracts coming in, and it was apparent that this conference was important to a lot of people. So I want to thank Andrew Wald and Christina Jones, who have put together an amazing program. Jordan Gray and David Hedrick, who have done extraordinary work in mastering the Zoom platform and pulling all this together. And they'll be with us the entire 24 days of this or 18 days of this conference. Our sponsors, we initially didn't reach out to sponsors, but then sponsors started contacting us and saying, how can we help? We want to sponsor this thing. And so I really want to, again, acknowledge ZoomEd as our title sponsor, Hola Hill, the Desert Tortoise Council, Missouri, Advanced Telemetry Systems, TRAX, and Wildlife Materials Incorporated. Reflecting on protecting turtles during the time of COVID, I have reflected on the impacts of this pandemic on our TSA programs and 3 previous communications since COVID darkened our world. And make no mistake, we are struggling and facing the single biggest challenge of our 20-year history. We are not alone in that regard by any means. All conservation NGOs are struggling right now. But despite pandemic-related economic hardships and travel restrictions, TSA teams around the world have persevered and produced some impressive results. And I am proud to say that we have not laid off a single staff member during that entire time. I want to start with Belize. Certainly this program has benefited from travel restrictions, in that our team of Day Ligon, Denise Thompson, and Donnie Knight are all stranded in Belize and have been for the last couple of months. This has led to a lot of innovation and additional field work and research. And I'm pleased to tell you today that we are doing our first releases of 133 Central American river turtles in at least in 2 wild and 2 semi-natural sites to look at comparative growth rates. These are all marked hatchlings. We had a record banner hatchling year this year, 184 hatchlings, which is a record for us considering we only had 190 eggs. So a great hatch rate. I'm really pleased with this program. This program started as a pilot project to figure out how to reproduce the species in captivity. And back in 2010, we started breeding them in 2015, and our success has really been overwhelming. So releasing turtles now is a real milestone, considering that we're doing it in the middle of a pandemic. Certainly one of our model programs, certainly for Southeast Asia, is Myanmar, is run by the husband and wife team of Stephen Calliar Platt, who are certainly the A team and have done an amazing job of organizing conservation programs for all the critically endangered endemic species of that country. We're taking species that were functionally extinct in the wild just 10 years ago and are now on the road to recovery. And certainly one of the best examples of that is the Burmese star tortoise. In 2020, we've hatched roughly 3,000 tortoises at 3 breeding centers, and 500 have hatched in the wild from eggs translocated from captive nest. 450 head-started tortoises released at a wildlife sanctuary just this year, bringing the total to over 3,000 tortoises released at 2 different sites. And those tortoises are reproducing in the wild. This story in particular, this species is one of our great conservation success stories of since TSA has been around. Continuing in Burma, the Burmese turtle is certainly a conservation success story. Remarkable rescue from the brink of extinction. When we started this program in 2006, started protecting nesting beaches and hatching eggs and raising animals in captivity. Our captive numbers now exceed 1,200. So this species is pretty much safe from extinction. And now our challenge is to get them reestablished in the wild. We have done reintroductions. I think 148 turtles have been reintroduced, and those reintroductions have had some positive impacts. For example, a wild female that had not laid fertile eggs in the history of this program, dating back to 2006, produced babies in 2020, and that's presumably the result of males that have been reintroduced to the wild. So we're delighted with that success. While we're on the subject of river turtles, Asian river turtles, Madagascar, TSA and our partners are committed to saving the 6 species of Madagascar, 5 of those which are ranked critically endangered by the IUCN Red List. This year alone, 7,568 river terrapins hatched in 2020 across 5 TSA country programs. And that is in the face of travel restrictions and field teams not being able to give these species their full attention. So we are, again, delighted with those kinds of results. Moving on to Madagascar. Madagascar is certainly one of our signature programs. It's certainly our largest program. We focus on 3 species, primarily the radiated tortoise, which is undergoing a systematic extinction decline. We are trying to halt that with everything that we've got. We're also focusing on the plowshare tortoise and the little spider tortoise from southern Madagascar. Our footprint of tortoise conservation is pretty extensive in Madagascar. We've got 2 major tortoise conservation centers in the south, the Tortoise Conservation Center and the Labavulu Tortoise Center. Together, those 2 centers and a couple of other smaller rescue centers are maintaining 24,500 tortoises that have been confiscated from the illegal trade. And this is just a few of the scenes of some of those confiscations and the amazing support we have drawn from the zoo community in responding to these devastating challenges and these horrific events. There's nothing like being immersed in 10,000 sick and dying tortoises to sober you up and steel your resolve. Our long-term challenges, obviously, is that maintaining that many tortoises across that many facilities is expensive. We have over 50 staff members throughout Madagascar. We go through 11,000 kilograms of food per month, and we have a lot of security to protect these tortoises, both electronically and with staff members. And I want to do another shout out to ZooMed, who recently provided a whole pallet of our grassland tortoise chow to help get us through some drought times. I am often criticized that we are keeping so many tortoises in captivity. But I reflect on the fact that if it wasn't for TSA, then who would have been there to save these tortoises? In Colombia, this is another program we're particularly proud of. We have community-based conservation programs for 2 of the large critically endangered river turtles, and those 2 communities are saving and protecting thousands of nests that would otherwise be lost or destroyed. We're returning tens of thousands of hatchlings to nature and to their native rivers. And in 2020, we created the first ever protected reserve for a turtle in Colombia. The Dall's toad-headed turtle exists only in tiny remnant patches of forest, along intermittent streams and cattle ponds, in a habitat almost completely dominated by cattle ranching. The TSA, in partnerships with WCS and Rainforest Trust, has been able to purchase a tract of land that has a pretty good population, and this reserve will serve as a genetic reserve to help save this species. at our Turtle Survival Center closer to home. Our breeding successes have been overwhelming, and it is really stretching the limits of our facilities. We are in a serious need to build right now, just to continue to build up the size of our assurance colonies. In 2019 and 20 alone, 17 species reproduced, resulting in 188 hatchlings. Some of these species are considered extinct in the wild, and depend on facilities like the TSA for their survival. We have over 70 eggs incubating from 2 species of the Indochinese box turtle complex. And those are animals that have finally started settling in after about 5 years and are really starting to crank out a lot of eggs. I want to go off script here just for a second. I've got very few minutes to talk. I want to talk about what it's going to take for TSA to survive this crisis and continue to protect turtles. About 30 to 40% of our income comes from our strong partnerships with the zoo community. Zoos are in survival mode right now. They are trying their best to survive. They're laying off staff, restructuring. It's ugly out there. So we are looking at a huge loss of income from one of our major partner sectors. We're all in this together. We need your help. We've got 3 programs right now that have gaping holes in the budget. Madagascar is one of them, India, and the Turtle Survival Center. We need your help. We can't, we like to say conservation doesn't take a day off. And, we don't have the option of shutting down programs and just releasing turtles. We have to keep going, and we need your help to do that. So thank you very much for attending. We really appreciate your being here. Next, I want to introduce Craig Stanford, who is the chair of the IUCN Tortoise and Freshwater Turtle Specialist Group, one of the co-sponsors and organizers of this symposium. Craig, take it away.